He had at his disposal the army, the gold, and the entire Roman Empire. Yet the most important words of his life he wrote in solitude, for himself alone, with no hope of publication or fame. These notes did not even have a title except for this remark. A millennium and a half later, in the 1550s, copies of these writings were discovered by a professor of Greek in the Heidelberg Library who decided to publish them. Since then, we have known this text as Meditations. Its author is Marcus Aurelius, the last great Roman emperor who both wrote and lived as a true philosopher. In this video, I will explain what Marcus Aurelius considered to be the meaning of human life. But I will not be the only one speaking.
Everything is made for some end. The sun itself would say, "I have my business assigned," and so too the celestial deities. But pray, what were you made for? For your pleasure? Common sense will not bear such an answer.
Marcus Aurelius had a distinctive perspective on individual human life. He regarded the human being as woven into the nature of the whole.
All parts of the universe are interwoven and bound together by a sacred bond, and no one thing is foreign or unrelated to another. This general connection gives unity and ornament to the world.
This idea permeates all of his meditations. As a Stoic, Marcus Aurelius believed that the universe is a single organism in which everything is connected to everything else and influences all things. Therefore, a person who resists the movement of the whole is as absurd as a foot resisting the rest of the body moving forward. According to Marcus Aurelius, one should live without pursuing or avoiding anything, because
it was all preordained for you by the universal cause, woven into your destiny from the very beginning. Is any man guilty of a fault? It is to himself then. Has any advantage happened to you? It is the bounty of fate.
In a certain sense, of course, this is a kind of fatalism. Each of us is a hostage to the nature of the whole, and from the whole there is nowhere to escape. But on the other hand, this is also an opportunity for freedom. For if a person accepts such an order of things, accepts their fate, then there is nothing left to complain about, nothing to ask for, and no need to search for meaning. The essential thing is to accept.
Remember that all things are opinion, and that it is in your own power to think as you please.
This, in essence, is the core of Stoicism, to accept that you are part of something unmeasurably greater and to find peace in that. Ultimately, our decisions are the only thing we truly control in this world. Everything else unfolds inevitably on its own. Therefore, if the Stoics were to pray, they would likely pray in the words of Marcus Aurelius.
Give me what you please, and take away what you please. He that is truly disciplined and reverent will address nature in this language.
It may seem that in such a philosophy there is no room for individual meaning in life, but that's only at first glance. Marcus Aurelius offers a particularly poetic example.
That which is not for the interest of the whole swarm is not for the interest of a single bee.
Since we are part of the nature of the whole, each of our actions influences everything. Therefore, the meaning of life is to do as much as possible for the common good.
You were made on purpose to comply with the interest of the universe.
And the most essential part of this counsel, which is repeated time and again in the meditations, is to do good toward people and society. This is a very pragmatic idea, because by doing good for the whole, we do good for ourselves.
Be always doing something serviceable to mankind, and let this constant generosity be your only pleasure.
Or here, in a completely different passage, but essentially the same idea.
Take care never to do anything without thought and intention, nor for any other end but what may be serviceable to the interest of society.
In general, Marcus Aurelius repeats himself quite often. He constantly returns to the same ideas in different words. First of all, many Stoics practiced daily reflection, contemplating the day they had just lived. And secondly, Marcus Aurelius never intended for his notes to be read by others. This impresses me deeply. It seems that it is the only instance in history when what was written by an emperor is completely sincere.
What remains but to live easily and cheerfully, and to crowd one good action so close to another that there may not be the least empty space between them.
The final touch that makes Marcus Aurelius' philosophy whole is the acceptance of oneself. Every person possesses their own individual qualities and should serve the nature of the whole through them.
Look out for something that is more serviceable to your nature, and pursue that, even if it brings you no glory.
Glory and honor do not move Marcus Aurelius. He constantly reminds us that they pass quickly, and the people whose approval we seek are usually rather mediocre, especially if you look into their souls. Therefore, everything is simple.
This is just as if an eye or a foot were to demand a salary for their service, and would not see or move without some reward for their effort. For as these organs are contrived for particular functions, and therefore, when man does a good office and proves serviceable to the world, he has fulfilled the end of his being and attains his own reward.
Simple, clear, and elegant. Now you know what the great Roman emperor saw as the meaning of life. One final step remains. After you close this video, convince yourself that everything is alright, that everything in life can be accepted, because such was the will of the nature of the whole. This will make you a true Stoic if, of course, you have truly embraced the philosophy of Marcus Aurelius. But even more important, whatever your decision may be, it has long been predetermined, and that is alright.